The frustration is mounting when it comes to being able to find an affordable American dream. The dream to buy a house, whether that's home prices that continue to climb, interest rates that do not seem to be coming down, the most affordable homes in your area being sucked up by institutional Wall Street investors, and now there's another thing to worry about, and that's AI. Today we're going to be addressing all of those pain points when it comes to finding the affordable American dream with the most recent articles, and I'm going to give you my opinion when it comes to AI and the real estate market, because I think it's going to be a nightmare.
People are calling this a housing bubble. Is it a bubble?
I don't see it's a bubble. I think that people are trying to take the lessons from the 2008 crash and bring them forward almost 20 years, and I just don't see that happening.
It's no secret that the reason why the home prices have remained high is because of the lack of supply, and that just means there isn't enough houses for people to purchase that want to purchase right now. And what they don't really say is there isn't enough affordable houses for people to purchase, because many people are approved for a loan. There just isn't anything for them available right now. And those numbers for housing right now are still going to continue to go up because they're still not building enough. According to Bloomberg, residential home starts, meaning the homes that they're starting to build, had decreased 14.8%. And I've been telling you that builders have this confidence index, and they've been feeling uneasy about the housing market quite a bit.
Coming out of the Great Recession, builders were apprehensive to get back in the market in a big way, fearful of putting too much supply in the market and regenerating that big boom market that we had in the 2000s.
And as interest rates continue to go up, that means they have less confidence in being able to sell those houses, so they're not going to build as many. Now, according to these numbers, the biggest sector that's going to be affected by this is multifamilies. They're still pretty confident in residential housing. Hopefully that those numbers that they're showing right now as those residential starts will be the most affordable homes. Every economist under the sun will tell you what drives any housing market, even in the worst housing markets in history, are first-time home buyers. If we do not have enough of those first-time home buyers to be able to find a home, the housing market's going to be coming to a screeching halt, especially as more people are locked into their rates. We have over 60% of people currently right now have an interest rate that is under 5%. What would even make them want to sell their home now? Home builders do realize that most sellers aren't going to want to sell right now if they're locked into that rate. So luckily for you, if you are trying to find an affordable home for you, a lot of home builders are working with home buyers to get them, first of all, a better interest rate. Secondly of all, they're giving you more incentives to buy, like upgrades to your house, like new flooring. And thirdly of all, they're offering lower closing costs and lower closing fees. So there's ways to get into a house if you have the income to purchase it. It just seems like right now there isn't enough affordable homes in most areas for people to purchase. I will tell you also this, if you have more new construction in your area, the more likelihood of you finding more affordable home in your area is going to be a lot higher, and your negotiation power is going to be a lot higher as well. Those of us who don't live in an area that has a lot of new construction, you're going to see your market be a lot tighter when it comes to home prices and your negotiation power. To this day, in a lot of markets, with the most affordable homes in your area, you can still get into some housing markets that are still having bidding wars. It's a crazy real estate market right now. Crazy.
Daryl Fairweather, Redfin's chief economist, doesn't mince words, labeling today's market as the least affordable housing market in recent memory. The culprits? A concoction of high demand spurred by the pandemic and remote work.
I mean, that home buyers should have a slightly easier time this year compared to last year. But from a historical perspective, it's still not a great time to be a home buyer.
Let's talk about institutional investors. The thing that all of these articles recently have come out with is the fact that the institutional investors don't own that much. They say they only own about 2% of the market. What they love to do now is blame the mom and pop investors that own one or two houses, and they say they're the issue of what's happening with the housing market and why there's such a crunch on so many affordable homes. According to this, it says, Adam Travis tabulated the Zillow data, and investors were at least 1,000 properties owned just 2% of the small rental properties, single-family homes and multifamily structures, though 12% of those properties were owned by some corporate entity. By comparison, micro-investors or mom and pop landlords owned 66% of the small rental properties. They're trying to vilify the tiny mom and pop investors, the ones that are trying to supplement their retirement fund, and they're trying to make the corporate investors look like really they own such a small percentage of the housing market. But let's just look at this recent article by Business Insider, and it says investors bought a record 26% of affordable homes, the affordable ones, in the U.S. in the last quarter. According to this, it said Redfin reported on Wednesday that property investors snapped up 26.1% of low-priced homes that were for sale in the fourth quarter, hitting a record share. Zooming in on low-priced accounted for 46.5% of investor purchases. And then the article goes on to say, like everyone else looking to buy a home in 2024, investors want to buy cheap if they can, but affordable homes are scarce. Inventory is low across the country, and sellers cling to lower mortgage rates they have locked in years ago. Corporate investors, Wall Street investors, have deeper pockets when it comes to buying houses. They are not as rate sensitive as the traditional first-time home buyer. So even though rates have gone up and gone down just a little bit and gone up again, that doesn't stop them from buying the most affordable homes in some of the most populated areas across the country. Now, there has been some legislation that's been proposed, but nothing has been signed or even looked at as voted on. Everybody remembers that how a bill becomes a law.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
It's just a bill that's sitting on paper. It's just words on a paper, and nothing is going to be done about it, if you ask me. Corporate investors are going to be continuing to be able to buy as many affordable homes across the country with no repercussion or anything to stop them at this time. And even at the end of this article, they've started to blame mom and pops. According to the data from the Housing and Urban Development, institutions accounted for 3% of all home purchases in 2021. And the major investor money behind the U.S. buying spree in recent years has been so-called mom and pop buyers. Really? To me, this is like they're trying to do what they've been doing to us for years. And that is to blame the little guy for all the major problems. It isn't the big company that's been poisoning the lakes and rivers for years why there's a depletion of fish in that lake. No, it's because you've been fishing in there for too many times during off season, and that's why there isn't enough fish. Of course, the little person has caused a little bit of a problem, but we can't just ignore the big problem over here, the institutional investor, because this guy decided to buy a house, an affordable house, and rent it out just to supplement his retirement income because he no longer has a pension and his 401k right now is worthless. It's these people. They're the issue. No more pointing fingers at the little guy trying to just make it in this world today. I'll get off my soapbox now.
Christopher Mayer, an economist from Columbia University, paints a stark picture, likening modern housing to a luxury good. This shift has been dramatic, with the median sales price for existing homes soaring over 40% from early 2020 to mid-2022, breaching the $400,000 mark.
When the media is done blaming mom and pop investors for the shortage of supply in the area, they turn to another group of people. Now they're blaming baby boomers for the shortage of supply. According to Fox Business, blame baby boomers for the shortage of supply. Findings published by real estate brokerage Redfin shows that baby boomers who are currently between the ages of 57 to 75 are aging in place, which is fueling both a nationwide inventory shortage and rising prices. Again, we're going to go ahead and blame the little guy because he can't afford to buy another house somewhere else. Interest rates are too high. Home prices are too high. We got to stop doing this. The article goes on to say the typical homeowner spends close to 12 years in their home in 2023. That nearly doubled the average in 2 decades ago. This is where they get into the blame game. Previously, older generations would move into a smaller home once they retired, which has freed up inventory for younger families and first-time homebuyers. Boomers are reaching retirement age and they're choosing to stay put, therefore not freeing up the existing housing supply. So now we're going to blame baby boomers. This is insanity to me. Let's just think about this reasonably. What are they going to do? Where are they supposed to go? Many people have already paid off their mortgage. and they have a fixed income. We already have rising insurance rates and property taxes, and they can't afford to sell their house to move somewhere else because they're not building any smaller homes to move to. You can't blame a generation of people not being able to find another house in order to free up the housing supply. For many years, they promised us a silver tsunami. All these baby boomers were going to sell their larger homes or even smaller homes to move into a retirement area. And that hasn't come to fruition because of inflation. The solution is so simple. Build a bunch of affordable homes for people to be able to move into. We cannot blame baby boomers for this problem. This is a problem that's been going on since 2008. We have not built enough homes. You can just look at this graph right here. We stopped building new housing, and slowly we started building up our housing supply after a decade of not building because of what happened in 2008. We can't even really blame the home builders for not wanting to build as much supply because they're not going to be held with a bunch of empty, vacant properties if interest rates go up because they're scared of losing their business. A lot of them did back in 2008. The only way we're going to get out of this situation is to build more homes. And my solution to this is that we work with local governments and offer builders incentives to build affordable homes. Whether that's single family, multifamily, every area can decide on what they want. But there has to be some kind of tax incentive for home builders in order to build the most affordable homes for their specific area. Most areas in the United States, the median income can't afford the median home in that specific area. We are compounding this problem year after year if we continue to go down this road of not building enough affordable housing.
And AI is actually going to take a center stage when it comes to a lot of our education sessions. I do think that there is a role, whether it's architecture, whether it's finding problems. I've heard, you can use AI programs to solve some of your punch list items.
That clip you just saw is Jim Tobin. He's the CEO of the National Home Builders Association. And as excited as he is about AI, I'm equally as terrified of it. I don't know if you've seen just recently, ChatGPT is an AI service that is offered to the public, and anybody can use it where you can make all sorts of things, whether you can make an AI created image or AI created blog posts. It has many different functions. They have just released the fact that they have created AI video, meaning that you could type in any kind of prompt saying, give me an inside tour of a beautiful, affordable home in Cincinnati, inside and out. And this will give you an actual tour of a home that does not exist. I know from what I've created on this channel talking about affordable housing, how many scams are out there today. There are thousands of fake websites that are created with AI generated images of these tiny houses or these modular homes. Can you imagine if you added another layer of fake videos of home tours? People are going to be genuinely fooled by this. They have been by photographs that are all over like Instagram and Facebook, and people have been putting down deposits on homes that do not exist. This is going to make it even easier for these types of scams to continue. And that's just one specific use that you could use AI video. There's so many other ways. Right now is the time before it is released to the masses that we need to put in some kind of legislation that stops this kind of AI video where it could be used for scams. I think that the penalty for using this type of scam that doesn't exist yet, but it will, should be so steep that nobody will even think about using AI generated videos to make a fake product like a tiny home or a modular home. Because I know, and I've seen how many people have been manipulated in the past. If they add video to this, it's going to cause a huge problem. But I want to know what you think. You let me know in the comments section below. To watch more videos about the American dream here in the United States, you're going to want to watch these videos right here. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer, and I tell you all this because good real estate information matters.